Hello and welcome. Today is the first day of August 2017. Welcome. My name is Derek and let's do an extended video on cryptos. I have no idea how long this is going to be. Obviously you do. You can see the time on it. It's a lot of information to go over. So without further ado, let's get started. 8:20 a.m. Eastern Time today is when at least Bittrex and I'm assuming other ones as well were taking snapshots of your Bitcoin balance, and that's how many BCC you will get as of a little after around 9:10 a.m. Not available on the Bittrex account. I sold them on Yobit yesterday, a little early on that site. I sold them at about 13.5% the price of Bitcoin, or 0.135 on the exchange. And I'll be looking to sell them again today because I think they're going to continue to go straight down. And right now we are seeing some sick volatility. The exchanges are going to be very slow. I can only imagine how bad Polo next is going to be. I'm probably going to just go over there and check. In fact, I'll probably do that in the next minute or so. So I'll report that to you in the next minute or so how bad it is. But Bittrex, a little slow, but workable. Workable. For the Bitcoin price, it's had the situation, of course, the failed move fast move. I've talked a lot about that, so I'm not going to go over what I've talked about over and over before in the past. These higher lows are in place. Question is it going to continue? Now that this fork has been completed, are we going to see some days in the first week and a half or two of August where we may at least test the lower end of this previous support, basically between 18 and 22? And that's the maybe question. I didn't sell too much. I really did. In fact, I had $40 just doing whatever. I could have even pulled orders out, and I probably should have yesterday. And I bought Bitcoin at like 28.30 or something, and then I sold it back this morning at 27.25. That's like a 7% loss, but it's actually going to be a small profit when I sell the BCC. And will there be continuation of selling? I think so, but I'm really not too sure. And the point is, I bought $40 worth, and whatever. I sold. I was going to aggressively sell like even over a grand's worth, but I don't got what it takes to do it. And I probably should, but I don't. Anyway, let's take a look at this on a shorter term time frame. And within the 4 hour, an inverted head and shoulders pattern. And I don't see, I mean, I guess you could almost call this one, I really don't one, but left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. But within what we're seeing, you got this choppy movement, which is just making things, oh my goodness, this is a huge mess kind of deal. It's making these higher lows, and in that nature there, it's at a pretty darn near cheap price if you think that pattern is going to keep going. But Bitcoin, a good long-term play, I believe, and also a base currency for trading. I really am not able to sell too much of it in the US dollar tether. Let's switch over the time, or not the time frame. Let's go over to some different codes, because for me today is going to be a day of buying alternate coins, and I want to go over my strategy and how I'm going to focus it. I'm going to start with the Ethereum chart, and this is the daily time frame. I only bought really one coin after 8:20, and that was this one, and I bought it at 77. And I was very low in the Ethereum. I ditched quite a bit of it in here as it was breaking down below the 95 area. And that point is when I sold a decent, it was in this breakdown point. And I didn't really buy anything at all. I mean, I maybe bought one small amount. I think I would have did I buy some here and sell some here? I don't even remember, but I really didn't. I mean, I loaded a lot more than a normal day trade. We'll talk about that. Where what I would normally buy would have been just it would have been a portion of an ether. This was a few ethers going out, and those few ethers came back in. As I ended up buying for a little bit cheaper, but now the question is, we got this decent rally. Is this going to be the start of something decent? Now, if you believe that's the case, when we look at it from this perspective, we're seeing a chart, well, in this downtrend technically still, but more importantly, pretty darn near close to the previous low price of just a little bit under 70. That's only 10 or so basis points higher. And we're talking about a move to the 61.8-ish area, a move to previous high, and then a move that's going to be a leg higher. Those are three, and even the 30, even a move in here too as well. But just for more longer term purposes is what I want to go on this for. Is if you're looking for moves in that nature, then technically speaking, it really doesn't matter what price you buy at this stage. You see something in a great uptrend on the 30-minute time frame or something, you know what, just go in and pay the price, if of course that's what you believe. I'm going to talk about different strategies within the day, and if that's day trading, I'm going to need shorter term charts, so let's shorten this one out. Now we look at this on the 2-hour time frame. There is what I call a double bottom formation, and you have a situation in here where it's just a double U, a double V, so you go down to a level, you rally up to usually a key point, and boom, 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 yeah, that qualifies as key point. And then you come back in or around that level, and if that's not matching, it's most certainly in or around, and technically it's a little higher, but no, it's in my book a matching low. And now here's the involvement right now within this previous level, of course within the fork time. So now you have a situation in which you you got the double bottom. So now as far as a calculation is concerned, I'm going to bring my calculator up. We're going to look at the up move going down. So we're going to take this high and of course this low of 86.55 for the up move. Normally I would be like, yeah, that's a decent place to sell. And you know what, very short term it might be with the intention of trying to buy back at around 80 to 82. But I wouldn't sell there, and I'm doing that not only because of the fundamentals of a decent breakout, possibly going for the bigger gains, but you have a situation even on short-term basis where you move up to this 82 handle. And I don't know how much I'm going to be liking this resistance. That I think what might be better just by looking at this chart alone is a 61.8% Fibonacci. And you know what, you don't even need to use a calculator for this. You just, okay, where it's like around here somewhere, plain and simple. And it's like, okay, so a decent gain that might entangle some nice profitable resistance, keyword might, is looking to find a move up in this area here. And then we got this area where it came from in here. So you're looking to maybe sell it around 93 and buy back at around 83. And there's a difference there of about 10%. So these are the types of strategies that I'm going to be looking for. And also, let's just move on to other charts, and then I can give you the individual ones and just what's available for each one. Now, Litecoin on the daily time frame has made its move basically from around a little south of 13, now a little south of 16. So there's like almost a 20% chunk just from this low to this high. Meanwhile, it's testing this 18 average declining, and like so many of these other charts, if you think they're going to have significant moves like a 61.8 to here, a match of previous high, or a breakout for a new leg higher, then the prices are very cheap at this stage. But the most important thing is not that they're cheap, but is this the start of a crypto bull market? Again, you think that's the case, good buying opportunities now, but let's shorten this out like we did with the Ether. And the 2 hour chart, very similar to the Ethereum. We can see, or relatively similar, we can see this little area might come into a point of resistance at 17. We also got the same 61.8 level somewhere in and around here. Short term, you've got this level established of resistance on several points, so it really does look like a break could very easily be forming on an ASAP kind of basis. You got this little area in here, which if you're looking for a very short-term discounted price, that's where you put a buy order looking at the chart at this point of view. And if this thing even breaks out, then you'd be looking to place buy orders for, well, where it is now, as markets will come back often to where they came from. Now within the Ripple chart, which on a day trading level could be a very interesting one for today's session, we have this many time hit level here at 56. We have just made this high roughly around 66.60. So let's do some fib calculations. And the key numbers as stated here, 62.39, 59.87, so 6,060. So 6,000 here. You know what, maybe it's going to come back down there, but if it's only going to have its normal correctionary move, we can see that it's a little bit of an extra move. So I would be typically one to put an order in around 62.04, 62.03. What I see in here is that this hasn't came down too much. It technically is a pierce above here, but if there's going to be a little bit of a further decline move, then maybe you can come in and play this on the 62. What I'd be looking for in a situation like this, if I were to buy, is I'm probably going to want to sell at a 61.8% level from this low to whatever the key high happens to be. And I know it's higher than what's stated on this point here, so I have to expand this to a little longer of a time frame. This is a 60-minute. And within this 4 hour, when we're looking at this, which high do you choose? It's been making lower highs and lower lows, and we still got to think, well, there's got to be even higher than that, which it is. I guess you could make a case maybe for this level, and the Fibonacci calculations for that area would represent a 7190 area. So that would be somewhere roughly, 72. Somewhere in here as one possibility, and also here to here, you know, that might be an okay level where you could put a sell point. I do have a buy order in, because in between the two charts, when I pause the tape or the video, I put my buy order in for a hair over 62. And if you're to play it long term, and I don't know if I like that word, I just like better gains or bigger gains, you're going to have this congestion point and a key psychological number probably around this 10 number. So at this stage, that's going to work out to about a 40-50% gain from where it stands. And then you're going to even be talking about playing the 61.8 or making a level that's a decent gain but significantly lower than previous high. And here we have Sia coin on the 4 hour time frame. And this is a situation in which had a lows around the 10th, which were retested in the general area again. The band has been flat for the last few days. This resistance level is being tested right now, but just look at the last 3 periods and where it came from before then. Well, it came from this little band of lows, this area, with this resistance, but the last 3 periods have a move up, come back down. Of course, that's the fork situation, but this thing looks ready to get going. It means, again, if this thing gets to like 330, 340, where do I want to buy? I want to buy pretty much where it's at now, around 311. It also means that if you think it's going to break it, there's nothing wrong with just buying now. Especially if you can just put a quick sell order in for 340, then try to buy a buy order back for 310. There's just different strategies like that you can try to do in a situation like that. If you're buying at 311, you're selling at 340, you got a decent chance, I think, of hitting. The basis point difference is about 30, so that gives you about a 10% gain. And just looking at risk reward management, but really just how the mathematics work on what your profit's going to be and how likely it is it's going to happen, and when it doesn't happen, what your losses would amount up to. As far as decred is concerned, DCR, we have the it's already played a fast move, but failed move, fast move to the upside situation. Since the fast move has taken place, a move to the 18 average of lows, volatile at that. Comes up, establishes a lower high resistance from the previous ones. Higher low, but close to the 18 average. And now it's pretty much at that point now. So another chart that looks ready to go for at least a test of this level. So now you look at mathematics here. We got a price chart at 1070. You're looking to sell at maybe around 1300. So that's a gain of about 230 basis point. That works out to a little over 20%. So there's lots of moves that are available to be in play within these markets. GNT Golem at this time has the pattern where if you believe it's ready to get going and you want to buy it cheap, well, here's the high that you made. You've pretty much made the double bottom formation I talked about at the earlier set of this video. And it has now come back down a little bit from this high. So a little bit cheaper than it was before, much cheaper than we seen at this point. But if you're looking just for a situation, a pattern like this is gets you a better price, and you can start selling here. You can sell some in here. But even if you buy at 89 and you sell at like 10.4, you're looking at a gain of like 15% almost, 13-14%, not bad. Via coin, it's in a nice situation where it's been going sideways for a little bit. This is a 4-hour time frame. We've got this established resistance a little north of the 48 handle, currently a little north of 39 right now. Higher low in here, leaving the band. It's already came back to it. Looks like it's about to leave. It's already had a decent amount of time resisting this previous level. More likely it is you take it, or more likely you test it. It is you take it out. You'd have to think you're going to make a move up to this previous high. That gives you an opportunity. If you're buying at around 39, you can sell at around 48. Then there's a gain of about 900 basis points, or a little over 20%. And I'll finish this off with ARDR. Although, did I do Litecoin? I guess I'll do Litecoin again for a second time, or the first time after this as well. Dash I didn't do, but it looked a lot like the Ethereums and other ones. I thought I might have done Litecoin. Anyway, this is a situation where, unless you believe this thing is at least ready to test this 61.8, previous high Fibonacci, ready to start a big, decent time frame bull market, you don't want to buy now. But unless you, those situations, I mean, if you're very confident it's going to go to 54 and you're buying at 45, that's nothing wrong with that. Short term, if it's going to have any type of support, 41, maybe a little above that, 41.50 even, as the area of coming back to where it came from, because I like to see resistance established, usually at a key area, come back to it, and then if I'm confident, that's usually where I want to buy. And then you can buy as it's lifting higher is another situation, and then buy when you even have a break of this resistance. Because if you're looking for buying at 54, you realize that it's got to get to like 48 before it gets to 54. So you could buy 48, sell there. You got a decent chance of cashing in, kind of deal. And now we'll put the Litecoin chart up, and it doesn't look like I did talk about this. All right then. So resistance. Oh man, she looks like it's breaking out. I guess technically, if it's going to come back down short term, it's going to be in here. Look for one area of resistance to come in around this previous high, and in a situation on such, I'd be looking for a move to come back to this current area now, and also look for a move also to come in around the 18.8 or so area, which would be the area of about 61.8% Fibonacci, as well as matching to this point. If, of course, a market comes up here, I think there's a decent chance it would come back to maybe this area here, especially if there's a decent amount of resistance on the way up. But these are different ways you would think the market would probably behave a little bit. So for myself, what I will be doing is I'm not going to be selling on this area here, but I will be selling here-ish area with the intent of buying back in here, because I think that's a little more probable of a situation. So we'll be putting a sell order in at around 188 and looking to buy back at about 167. So that's a difference of about 21 basis points and a little over 10%. So that's worth it for a play for me. So thank you for tuning in. And yeah, these are just trading ideas, stuff that I'm doing. Everything is on your own risk and on your own reward basis. Just putting out a video to help and give you some insight as I'm looking at these markets. Take care.